What up, beasts? Welcome back to another free-to-play Ultimate Iron Man Progress video. Gonna start off with a huge GZ to never miss on becoming the first free-to-play hardcore Iron Man to achieve 99 rune crafting. Absolute beasts. Unfortunately, I wasn't at my computer when he got it, so I'm relying on this screenshot from Rubilical. So thank you, dude, for posting that. Unfortunately, this one isn't a celebration, but I want everyone to pause the video and take a quick moment of silence for 20 Problemos, who got jumped by a 15 to 20 man team while he was telegrabbing wilderness nature runes, losing 30k laws and 17.8k nats, pretty much all of his gains from 99 range. So, sorry that had to happen to you, dude. It looks like you're not quitting the account though, so hope you can get those supplies back in the future. Alright, I got a lot to cover in this video, so let's get right into it. Last time you guys saw me, I had finished up using the nature runes that I got from telegrabbing. That got me a couple smithing levels, and that gave me, more importantly, a clean inventory. And so with that clean inventory, I wanted to take advantage of that, and I wanted to go up into the wilderness to do prayer training at Boneyard. And this is the method that you're seeing here. So, Boneyard is pretty simple when it comes down to just the bare minimum. There are 2 big bone spawns that are shown here, with 1 small bone spawn in the middle, and essentially your goal is to pick these up and bury the bones as fast as you can. Now, there are a bunch of different methods to do this. All of them involve general or random micro efficiencies kind of scattered throughout. So what I'm doing right here, and what I did for pretty much most of my grind, was the bare minimum of just picking up the bones and not burying them until I got a full inventory. Now when I had run energy, I only was picking up the big bones, and that's just because picking up the small bones causes you to slow down and it's kind of an awkward movement. So I only picked up the small bone when I was walking because it has less of an impact on your general movement speed and pathing. So essentially, yeah, just picking up these bones, waiting until full inventory, and then burying them all for prey XP. This got me around anywhere from 8.4 to 8.6k an hour, depending on how efficient I was being and how focused I was on this versus playing another account or whatever. And so yeah, there are a lot of micro efficiencies with this method and a lot of ways to increase the rates. The easiest one, at least in my opinion, that I was doing for some of this was the early hop. So essentially, RuneScape in general has this kind of neat mechanic where if you go to pick an item up and you log out 1 tick before you were supposed to pick that item up, the game is still active for a tick after you click the logout, and so because of that, you're still able to pick up some of these bones while you're hopping. And so it's kind of a neat little trick. You'll see in some of these how I'm not quite onto the tile, or the bone doesn't look like it's been picked up in my inventory, but in reality I did pick it up through the hop. So that's kind of cool, and that gets me an extra like 100 or 200 XP an hour here. The main ways that this method gets increased though is burying the bones as you walk. Now, it's kind of a tough method to pick up just because you have to bury the bone and you have to click on the any other tile to keep walking while you bury it. Otherwise, your character will stop as you bury the bone. And so it's sort of tough to do, but if you can get good at it while you're single hopping, it gets you up to 11k an hour, which is a big increase from the XP rates that I was getting here by stopping to bury all the bones. So that's definitely something to consider if you want to do this method in the future. The other big increase to the XP rates here is double hopping. So I don't double hop, I single hop because I actually enjoy having the couple seconds of nothing to do so that I can click on a second account or change a YouTube video or a Netflix show or whatever. But double hopping is definitely much faster because, just as you can see from the clip here, I spend a lot of time doing nothing while I wait for the hop to happen. And so if you can double hop and you can bury the bones while you're walking or running, you can get up to 17k an hour. At least that's the fastest that Tanardino has been able to get. I'm sure that someone will probably come around and maybe figure out how to do 18k an hour. But regardless, that's more than double, or just about double the XP that I was getting here. So definitely something to take into account if you want to do this method in the future. But also keep in mind as well that even doing my very slow method of only 8.5k an hour, I'm still getting more prey XP than I would from the most efficient hill giants, which is only like 6.5k an hour. So since I was traveling back home to be with my family over the holidays, I didn't have my PC or laptop with me, so I ended up doing a decent amount of mobile Boneyard during this time as well. Now, the mobile method is very similar to the method that I did back on my PC. Essentially, I'm walking back and forth between them, getting a full inventory and burying, and then continuing to world hop. It's actually not too bad. In terms of methods that have differences between playing on PC and playing on mobile, this is actually a pretty decent one. Definitely something that I recommend to people doing Boneyard. You know, if you're trying to maximize XP per week or XP per month or whatever, this is definitely a good way to like stay active when you're not at your computer. So definitely something to consider. So real quickly before I move on, I want to give a quick shout out to the free-to-play clan for putting together this cool 12 days of streaming events that happened kind of in the lead up to Christmas of last year. So this was pretty cool. It was a really fun way to kind of end off the year with getting a bunch of people to start streaming their content, or kind of just getting all the streamers that made free-to-play content to sort of get together and, you know, show off all their free-to-play skilling methods and stuff. The schedule mostly had actual free-to-play clan members, but by the end they were opening it up to people who weren't in the clan, like a lot of World 385 people and some Paradise people like Tidios and just a couple others. It was kind of cool. It was like, you know, having a free-to-play stream going on pretty much all day, you know, for all of these days, which is really cool to see. I definitely streamed more than I've ever streamed in the past, and it was just really cool to see. And so something that kind of stemmed from that is AutomLG actually put together a Twitch team of all the people who somewhat regularly stream free-to-play content. So I'll link it down in the description, but essentially it's kind of like a one-stop shop to, if you use Twitch and you like watching streamers for free-to-play, it pretty much includes all the people who somewhat frequently stream their content. So definitely something worth checking out. Definitely make sure to give everybody on the team a follow. Nobody has like a real set streaming schedule, so if you're interested in catching a stream, you just gotta keep your eye out for Twitch, and just to make sure to follow everybody so you can see when they go live. So I had originally planned to make a separate video covering this, but there's not too much to go over, so I think I'll just do it here. But I want to do a quick review on 2022 for this account. You know, some of the accomplishments that I got, some of the XP that I got. Just to kind of highlight what a year looks like for an account like mine. So starting off, back in January, if you remember, I had just gotten 85 smithing from doing crafting and some of that district return smithing. And so with that, I figured I would go ahead and get 99 woodcutting and fire making done and out of the way. And so that was a pretty fun time. Ended up getting a lot of woodcutting XP, a lot of fire making XP. If you'll recall, I was starting that grind from 90, so I had already gotten almost half of all the XP done. So that took about a month, having fun with that. After that though, really what most of the year looked like for me was slowly getting rid of my law rune stack from 99 range at ogresses. So that got me a lot of crafting XP that I did, just doing crafting guilds, and that of course netted me alongside that a bunch of smithing XP, a bunch of mining XP, a bunch of magic XP. I'm actually getting somewhat close to 99 mining. That might be something I even get this year, depending on what my plans end up turning into. But did that up until I got 89 smithing. And at that point, I decided to take a quick break and get my fishing and cooking up to base 90s there. And that was a fun method. Wasn't being very efficient because I have not learned Eerie fishing yet, or the new fishing method that Automology just put together, the Snowfire fishing. So did that to 90, and then with the new Rune Scimitar, I went back to Minotaurs and gave Minotaurs a try for the first time. That was pretty fun. I didn't stay there for too long. I just got my melees up to base 80s. But that netted me a decent amount of Rune Essence and the bone fragments. And so I spent a good chunk of time after that using up all of those, doing the Body Chronicle Canoe rune crafting method. That was a lot of fun. I was able to do that from like 70 up to 78 rune crafting, I think. And then the last 2 levels, I just did Varrock Telly Earth rune crafting, and I got rune crafting up to 80, so I got a decent amount of EHP there. That actually took me I think that was the skill I spent the most single amount of time doing this year, or at least the most EHP. I think I might have spent more time crafting, but EHP doesn't quite show that, because I was doing the inefficient methods. But then finally, after I got 80 rune crafting, that was when I finally got over the mental hurdle of telegrabbing, and I decided to just go all in with that. And so from the last video, you saw me get up to 91 smithing from doing all of that, getting rid and finally getting that clean inventory. And then just this past month, some of my prayer gains are showing. This really, from what you're seeing here, is pretty much all of the Prey XP I got this year. Because if you'll remember from Minotaurs, I was not burying bones. So a lot of the XP I got from there it was just melees, it wasn't Prey, because I wasn't burying bones. But yeah, overall it was a good year. 819 EHP according to Wiki. These are with new rates. If the rates hadn't changed, I think they would have been a little closer to like 950 EHP gain this year. In terms of general hours played, I think I played about 1,000 hours this year, give or take. So that's pretty cool to see. I'm definitely hoping that next year I can get up to 1,000 EHP gained in the year, but we'll see how life plans and everything turns out. So getting back to Boneyard, I pretty much went into this with the goal of getting 80 prayer. 80 Prey just seemed like a good goal to get to. It would give me base 80s, which is a super clean looking stat to have. And not many people really have trained prayer outright, so it'd be one of the few skills that I could like really jump up the leaderboards with. And so I pretty much, from the start of December all the way up to just a few days ago, I did nothing but that. I grinded it out. I was able to stream a decent amount of it, which was cool, because I was also able to stream me playing the Alcarid account as well, which you can see in the bottom right. I was a little suspect about streaming Boneyard, just because I didn't know if there were going to be any like people that would come into my Twitch chat, see me in the wilderness, and try to rag me, especially the times where the world that I was on was showing. But I never ran into any PKers at all, never ran into any raggers. Boneyard's pretty empty. Every now and then I would see a couple other accounts there, just like really low level noob accounts that were probably trying to get 43 prayer out of the way. The only ever scary looking accounts I saw there were the like main accounts that those noobs would bring along to like keep the skeletons off of them. But whole time never had any issues, never got attacked, never got chased, never even had anyone like tell me the world hop or whatever. So ended up having no issues there, and I was luckily able to stream actually getting 80 prey, which I'm going to get soon. And overall, just kind of looking back on doing this method, I enjoyed it. I can definitely see myself doing this method long term. It's definitely a lot slower than the actual efficient methods like berry walking and double hopping. But in terms of like burnout and in terms of like content that I enjoy, I definitely think I'm going to be sticking to this method in the future when I come back to Boneyard for prayer. Just because like when I'm doing like the super click intensive methods, I get burnt out really quickly and I just won't play as often as I do doing an easier method like this. So, thinking long term, like XP per week, XP per month sort of things. I think that, going eventually for the 99 parade grind, this is what I'm going to end up doing. Even if it takes me, over 1,000 hours to do. End of the day, it's just time. And, it'll be easy. So, I'll grind it out one day, but finally, here is me getting 80 prayer. And with this, I'm the 8th free-to-play Ultimate Iron Man to have base 80s. I'm the 22nd free-to-play Iron Man in general to get base 80s. And I'm the 55th free-to-play account in general to get base 80s. So, pretty cool. But with that, it's time to get back to training melees. So when I first got back to the Odor's Warriors, I wanted to give the method of just face tanking them a try as I meleeed. So there's a cool room here at the Odor's Warriors. This is in the part of the dungeon that's not locked behind the Dragon Slayer completion. And essentially, there are 2 to 3 Odorous Warriors and 2 Shamans that are in this one room. But the big thing is that there's a raw tuna spawn on the ground, and there's a fire right there to torch the tunas on. So this is kind of cool because it gives you like a really easy access to food while you're here. And so with this in mind, I wanted to give a try of how badly I would handle or how much damage I would take while doing this if I didn't Prey Flick and just relied on the defensive bonus. And after doing this for a couple hours, I was getting around 25, 26k XP an hour, and even with 80 defense, I was taking a lot of damage. And I found myself like constantly worrying about like making sure I had enough food on me, making sure that I wasn't going under like any specific HP that I wasn't like comfortable with. Of course, I'm just a UIM, so if I die, it's no big deal. I'll just run back and get my stuff. But if I really like accidentally click on the Odor Shamans, they were doing a lot of damage to me, and I was not able. I was like, I would try to Prey Flick them, but I was not very good, so I was ended up losing a lot of prey. But overall, this method isn't too bad, but I did definitely find myself wanting some better XP, even if it meant being a bit more click intensive with Prey Flicking. So finally, I just decided to give Prey Flicking a try here at the Odor's Warriors, and I'm glad I did because the rates I'm getting now are much better, and even though it's more click intensive, I'm generally finding it much easier not having to worry about food at all. And so this is probably the method that I'm going to be doing going forward while I'm here at the Warriors. So it's pretty good. The XP rates are really nice. I'm getting anywhere between like 33 and 35k an hour, which is much closer to the tick perfect of like 38 or 39k that I could be getting here with my current stats. Now, I could be more efficient with being more zero time with burying my bones and like making sure that like every cycle I'm attacking one of the warriors here, but I can't quite be bothered to play that intensely. They're also sort of far apart too, so it's like kind of annoying to try to like keep the cycle going like without losing any ticks. But the Prey Flicking I found is a lot easier than I thought it would be. So I'm essentially Prey Flicking both my defensive and offensive prayers, both with the quick prayer little interface icon thing that you can do here. So essentially, when you normally attack an Odorous Warrior, essentially you get into a tick cycle where first tick, they'll attack you, then you'll attack back, and then there's like 2 cycles of like nothing going on. At least I think that's how it works. But essentially what that means is that I set my quick prayers to defense from melee and ultimate strength and incredible reflexes, which is the 50% strength and attack bonus prayers. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm clicking the quick pray icon 4 times. So essentially the first tick I'm pray flicking the defensive, you know, because I'm getting attacked. And then the second tick I'm pray flicking my attack onto the actual warrior. And so pretty much, yeah, I'm clicking it 4 times, you can see there. And it's working pretty well for me so far. I'm able to really not take any damage from these, and I'm able to hit all of my prey flicks for offense, except for the very first one, which I can't really time that well yet. But yeah, XP rates are great. I have 2 max hits from this. I only hit 18 when I'm not prey flicking, but I can hit 20s when I am, which is really cool to see. So I love getting those XP drops. And yeah, so this is probably what I'm going to be doing for a little while. Kind of looking into the long-term goals for this account, or at least for like what's coming up. I told fellow free-to-play UIM Zyapher that I was going to race him to 99 crafting. So he's currently working on crafting right now. He's at 85, but he had just finished up 99 ranged ogresses, so he's going all the way to 99 from there. And I am essentially gonna try to beat him. So what I really need from here is I need about 5,100 law runes to get this, to have enough supplies to do 99 crafting. That'll probably go down as I am just passively cutting gems here, but hopefully that shouldn't take too long to get. Maybe just like a couple weeks of going at this pretty hard, and then I'll be going back to crafting in the meantime to participate in that race, either until he gets 99 crafting, I get 99 crafting, or we both just burn out. So we'll see how that ends up going. But yeah, that's kind of the look ahead, at least for the next couple months. Obviously, if I go for 99 crafting, that's going to take a decent amount of time. So that'll probably take me like all throughout the spring, maybe even into the early summer, depending on how slow I am. I'll be doing crafting guild, so the 14.5k an hour versus his double hop Varrock Southwest leather mining, which is much faster. I think that gets up to like 18 or 19k an hour. So we'll see how it goes. In the long term, though, my general goal is going to be trying to finish up melees, and through those, getting all my supplies for 99 crafting and eventually 99 smithing. So I've been sort of looking into how I'm going to be splitting this up. Right now, I have about 30 mil melee XP to work with, and that's just between attack, strength, and defense. And so I essentially want to split it up in a way where I have just enough to get 99 smithing. And so, like for example, like I don't really want to get that much post XP. So if I were to stay at ogresses the entire way through it all, I would get the supplies. Like I would get a lot more supplies than I would need to get 99 smithing. And I would end up getting like post XP from that. So I want to try to avoid that as best I can. So I think what I'm going to do is it'll be a split between doing Ogress Warriors and doing Hill Giants. Because Hill Giants are a lot less smithing XP per kill or smithing XP per combat XP. Just because like even with Odor, they just don't drop the laws and gnats nearly as much as Ogresses do. But, they do have all their big bone drops, and so that'd be a lot of passive prayer XP. And so just in terms of just general like road to max, it'll definitely be probably smart to do that in the future. But we'll see. I'm still very early on in my planning with this. It's probably gonna be a long time before I get to that point, and I'll probably do more planning as I get there. Another thing to consider too is whether or not I want to go back to Minotaurs. So if you guys remember, Minotaurs are, they're cool because they drop a lot of bone fragments and noted rune essence, so that the body chronicle canoe rune crafting method can be done. And I don't know if I'm going to go back to that. I really liked the rune crafting method, but I was not a fan of killing the Minotaurs. And that was with not even burying the bones of Minotaurs. Minotaurs are really only worth it if you're super efficient and you're burying all the bones. So we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna go back, at least not for like a long time. But if I do, then I'll have to factor that back into the whole like melee XP plan. And so if I do Minotaurs, then I'll probably have to do more ogresses than hill giants. But we'll see how that split ends up looking. That's pretty far down the line. But yeah, that's sort of my plan for now. So I'm gonna keep doing this, and I'll probably have another progress video either when I'm finished up with the law runes that I need, or maybe starting into the crafting grind, or maybe something else if that plan doesn't really work out. But hopefully there'll be another video in the next couple weeks or so, or the next couple months. Definitely, if you want to catch me in the meantime though, I am trying to stream on Twitch somewhat often, like maybe twice a week. I don't have a set schedule, but usually it's like if I'm gonna be streaming, it'll be in the evenings of work days or maybe like throughout the day, Saturday or Sunday. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, thanks for watching, gamers, and I'll catch you all later.